Pardon me, ma'am, but can you describe these animals?" She shook her head. She was quite beyond words. "Can you just tell me if they—" "I'm sorry," said the Industrialist apologetically, "but I think I had better take care of her. Will you excuse me?" "A moment, please. One moment. She said she had never seen such animals before. Surely it is not unusual to find animals that are completely unique on an estate such as this. I'm sorry, let's not discuss that now. Except that unique animals might have landed during the night." The Industrialist stepped away from his wife. "What are you implying?" "I think we had better go to the barn, sir." The Industrialist stared a moment, turned, and suddenly and quite uncharacteristically began running. The Astronomer followed, and the woman's wail rose unheeded behind them. Chapter 11. The Industrialist stared, looked at the Astronomer, turned to stare again. "Those?" "Those," said the Astronomer. "I have no doubt we appear strange and repulsive to them." "What do they say?" "Why, that they are uncomfortable and tired and even a little sick, but that they are not seriously damaged and that the youngsters treated them well." "Treated them well? Scooping them up, keeping them in a cage, giving them grass and raw meat to eat? Tell me how you speak to them." "It may take a little time. Think at them. Try to listen. It will come to you, but perhaps not right away." The Industrialist tried. He grimaced with the effort of it, thinking over and over again, "The youngsters were ignorant of your identity." And the thought was suddenly in his mind, "We were quite aware of it, and because we knew they meant well by us according to their own view of the matter, we did not attempt to attack them." "Attack them?" thought the Industrialist, and said it aloud in his concentration. "Why, yes," came the answering thought, we are armed." One of the revolting little creatures in the cage lifted a metal object, and there was a sudden hole in the top of the cage, and another in the roof of the barn, each hole rimmed with charred wood. "We hope," the creatures thought, "it will not be too difficult to make repairs." The Industrialist found it impossible to organize himself to the point of directed thought. He turned to the Astronomer. "And with that weapon in their possession they let themselves be handled and caged? I don't understand it." But the calm thought came, "We would not harm the young of an intelligent species." Chapter 12. It was twilight. The Industrialist had entirely missed the evening meal, and remained unaware of the fact. He said, "Do you really think the ship will fly?" "If they say so," said the Astronomer, "I'm sure it will. They'll be back, I hope, before too long." "And when they do," said the Industrialist energetically, "I will keep my part of the agreement. What is more, I will move sky and earth to have the world accept them. I was entirely wrong, Doctor. Creatures that would refuse to harm children under such provocation as they received are admirable. But, you know, I almost hate to say this." "Say what?" "The kids, yours and mine. I'm almost proud of them. Imagine seizing these creatures, feeding them, or trying to, and keeping them hidden. The amazing gall of it. Red told me it was his idea to get a job in a circus on the strength of them. Imagine." The Astronomer said, "Youth." Chapter 13. The Merchant said, "We will be taking off soon?" "Half an hour," said the Explorer. It was going to be a lonely trip back. All the remaining 17 of the crew were dead, and their ashes were to be left on a strange planet. Back they would go with a limping ship, and the burden of the controls entirely on himself. The Merchant said, "It was a good business stroke, not harming the young ones. We will get very good terms, very good terms." The Explorer thought, "Business." The Merchant then said, "They've lined up to see us off, all of them. You don't think they're too close, do you? It would be bad to burn any of them with the rocket blast at this stage of the game." "They're safe." "Horrible looking things, aren't they?" "Pleasant enough inside. Their thoughts are perfectly friendly." "You wouldn't believe it of them. That immature one, the one that first picked us up." "They call him Red," provided the Explorer. That's a queer name for a monster. Makes me laugh. He actually feels bad that we're leaving. Only I can't make out exactly why. The nearest I can come to it is something about a lost opportunity with some organization or other that I can't quite interpret." "A circus," said the Explorer briefly. "What? Why the impertinent monstrosity?" "Why not? What would you have done if you had found him wandering on your native world? Found him sleeping on a field on Earth, red tentacles, 6 legs, pseudopods and all?" Chapter 14. Red watched the ship leave. His red tentacles, which gave him his nickname, quivered their regret at lost opportunity to the very last, and the eyes at their tips filled with drifting yellowish crystals that were the equivalent of earthly tears. End of Youth by Isaac Asimov.